So, good morning, one and all. Today we'll continue the yesterday's topic, yesterday's chapter. So, in yesterday's topic, what we have discussed was the two things. The one is we have discussed on the resting membrane potential. Then we have discussed on the action potential. And then we have totally conclusively what we have discussed is the generation of nerve impulse. So now the point is, what happens after the generation? What happens after the generation of nerve impulse? How do it goes for the next step? So today we are discussing that in this part 2 of the topic, and that is the conduction. So yesterday we have discussed the generation of nerve impulse. Today we'll go through the conduction of the nerve impulse. So today we are discussing the conduction of nerve impulse. So having a small recapitulation, yesterday what we have discussed, so at the axon hillock part, so assume this as the cell membrane. So we said that we have the plasma membrane here. You know, plasma membrane is made up of lipid bilayers. So just drawing them. So inside or between these lipid bilayers, we have the protein channels or ion channels, the voltage gated channels. So we have the potassium gated channel, and we have the sodium channels, which are actually controlled, which are actually gated. So we have the sodium channels, and then we have the sodium potassium pump, which we have discussed yesterday. So I'll put up 3 here so it'll be easier for us to understand. Okay, so there is a membrane which was ready to undergo the action potential, which we discussed yesterday, and this membrane started its action. So this membrane, because of the ionic differences, it started the action potential. Now in the same way, in this level, we have got the production of action potential here. Yesterday we have discussed this action potential. So in the action potential part, what happens? We'll have the opening of the sodium ion channels. So we have rapid influx of the sodium ions. We'll use one more thing. So we have rapid influx of the sodium ions, right? Thereby changing the potential difference into the positive inside. So it has become from minus 70, which I have discussed in the previous video. From minus 70, it came to the plus 30 millivolts due to this rapid influx of the sodium ion. So here we have lot of sodium ions being influxed into the cytosol region. So you all know this is a cytosol region, or we can say the exoplasm region, and this is the ECF, the extracellular fluid region. Extracellular fluid. So now the point is, okay, so here we have generation of the action potential, or here we have the depolarization state. Now from here what happens? This depolarization wave will continue to the next part of neuron. So we have this next part. So assume the membrane continues here. So I'll just draw it here. The membrane continues. So the membrane will continue. In the next part also we'll have this sodium gated channels and all those potassium gated channels we'll have. So what this particular depolarization wave, that means these ions which repel with themselves, these things will repel with themselves, and what happens, the sodium ions are transported to the next part of the neuron. So when they transport to next part of neuron, we already said these channels are voltage gated channels. So when there is change in the voltage here, again this channel gets opened up. So this sodium gated channel gets opened up here because of this movement of the sodium ions. That is a depolarization wave moving that side, which is called as nerve impulse. So we'll have rapid influx of the sodium ions now from the outside also. So we'll have rapid influx of sodium ions. Now here in this part B, so assume this as the part B of neuron. So here in this part B, which was in resting potential, there is creation of the action potential. So there will be creation of the action potential. Now this continues. This will continue to the next parts. So depolarization wave will not stop until it reaches the nerve terminal. So to be simple, what we can write, this depolarization wave. So depolarization wave. So generally, physiologically, if you want to discuss, what is this depolarization wave? It is actually these ions, the sodium ion, the rapid influx of sodium ions. So they are moving up, and when they are moving, they are changing the potential difference. Okay, so this depolarization wave continues till what? Nerve terminal. So it continues till the nerve terminal. So these are the conduction happens. So from the point A to the point B. So where we have generated the action potential, that action potential continuously changes the next levels. So to be simple, if we draw another diagram, we can draw it like this. So these the normal thing. So if you want to make it in a normal way, so I don't want these ions and all those things, sir, just put it in a normal way. We can put it like this. So you can see here, this is the membrane. Think this is the axolemma. Okay. So we'll think this as a part A and this as the part B. So this is the part A where action potential has already been generated. And this is part B, which is still in the polarized state. So it is still in the resting membrane potential. Resting potential is shown here, that is around minus 70 millivolts. Now this is activated already. So here we have got the action potential, or this is got depolarized, which is plus 30 millivolts. Now what happens here, inside we have plus the positive nature here, and outside we have the negative, right? So here it will be reverse. Inside we have the negative because it's the resting membrane potential. So I'll just rub this off. So because it's in the resting membrane potential, it will be in the negative side, the inside, and the outside will be on the positive side. Now because of this difference in the potential voltage values or potential difference values, what happens? These ions will move in this direction. They will go to that way. The current, the depolarization wave will move to the next part. And because of this, what happens? The voltage gated channels opens up, and then these negatives will turn into positives. So this polarized part has again been depolarized. So like this wave will keep on continuing. This wave will keep on continuing till it reaches the nerve terminal. Okay, sir, that's fine. This is okay. But what about this part? As we discussed this point yesterday also, in the last video also, it says that the depolarization or the sodium ion channel open will be only for 0.3 to 0.5 milliseconds. It will be very small matter of time. So after that time, what happens? So when the wave has gone out, okay, think that the wave is out. So we have got the wave continue to next part. Now what happens in this region? After action potential, what happens? Now we'll discuss that. So conduction is done. Now that neuron should be ready for the next stimulus or next depolarization wave. Now what happens? So think this as a membrane again. So this is a membrane, and this is the ECF part, and this is the axoplasm part or the cytosol part. We can say cytosol also. So now already here we are having action potential. That means we are having the positives inside. We are having the positive potential difference inside, and we are having the negative nature outside. Think of it, why we are having negative nature outside? Because outside we don't have any positive ions. Inside we have potassium ions. Already you know potassium is permeable, it can pass in. Inside we have sodium ions also. Sodium also came in. So here what is left over? Negative is left over. The chloride ions are left over. That's why it is negative outside during action potential. Okay. So now action potential is done. It has gone to next junction. Now what will happen to these ion channels? Now observe, the sodium channels will be closed. Very important point. The sodium channels will be closed. So assume this as a sodium channel. So sodium channel is closed. Now what happens? There will not be any influx of the sodium ions. So to be simple, after the action potential have gone away, the sodium ions influx is stopped. So your sodium ions influx is stopped. That means you can't increase the positive potential difference inside the cytosol. Now then what happens? Obviously you know we have the potassium ion channels, the potassium gated channels. The potassium gated channels are already permeable to potassium ions. So based on their gradient, the potential gradient, these potassium ions will start moving towards the ECF. The potassium ions will be start moving away from the cytosol to the ECF. That means the positives are being going out. So potassium ions will start moving outside. Okay. And in the same way what happens is, we have one more channel, one more pump, that is the sodium potassium pump. So this sodium potassium pump will start its activity. So sodium potassium pump will start its activity. What is its activity? Its activity is sending 3 sodiums outside and taking in 2 potassium inside. So this is what happens after the action potential is done. Now if you observe this point, the potassiums are rapidly going out. Yes, they are coming in, that's true. But rather than this rate, it is going faster outside. So what happens? The positive nature inside will be decreased. So here the positive nature inside will be decreased, and it starts decreasing from plus 30 millivolts to plus 20, then plus 10, then minus, it will start 0 and minus. So it will start reaching to the minus 70 millivolts. So because why? The positive ions are going out and there is no chance that sodium can come in. So what is left over here? What is left over here is only the negative proteins. So what is left over here will be only the negative proteins. So what happens? The negativity, electronegativity will be more inside. So here what happens? From from plus 30 millivolts, the membrane potential will come down to the minus 70 millivolts. What do you call this? This is called as repolarization. That means re means what? Again. So the depolarized membrane is again polarizing. So which has been depolarized, is again coming to the polarization state. That is called as repolarization. So because of this rapid efflux, what do you call this? Efflux. E means outside. So because of this rapid efflux of the potassium ions outside, inside what's happening? The negativity has been increased. So from plus 30, it will be going to minus 70. So if I draw a small graph regarding this one. So remember the yesterday's graph, we have drawn a graph having the time on the x-axis. So here we are having the time on the x-axis and the potential difference on the y-axis, So what happened here? From the minus 70 millivolts, which is, what is that one? Polarized state. So from the minus 70 millivolts, which is the polarized state, the graph has been raised to how much? Plus 30. So that is the action potential being generated. So this is how much? This is plus 30. Where we have the spike potential, the action potential. Then from there what happens? After the action potential is generated, it is transported to the next junction. Then starts its repolarization. The pump will start working. The potassium ions efflux will increase and sodium will be stopped. Sodium pumps will be stopped. So what happens? This will come down. This graph will come down again up to the minus 70 millivolts. So it will come down to the same level. Now the point is, this efflux of the potassium ions will increase. It will not stop. So it will keep on increasing. This efflux will keep on increasing, and what happens is the electronegativity will decrease to minus 90 also. So it will decrease to minus 90 here. So it goes to from minus 70, it will go to minus 90. So this potential difference from minus 70, it is reaching to the minus 90. What do you call this condition? This condition is called as hyperpolarization state. I'll explain the graph again, don't worry. So from the repolarization state, it is going back to the hyperpolarization state. Why this hyperpolarization state? Why it is important? I'll tell you. But first of all, let me draw a graph so that we can understand it properly in the center. So I'll just show you the graph here. Okay. So if you draw a graph, So if you draw a graph here, so we are drawing a graph having the potential difference on y-axis, having time on x-axis. So at the starting, what do we have in the starting? The starting we have minus 70 millivolts of potential difference, which is the actual polarized state. So this is the resting membrane potential, RMP. Now because of the stimulus, because of opening of the sodium gated channels, what happened? It have raised up to the spike potential, that is plus 30. So this is how much? Plus 30, which is the action potential. Now then what happened? The depolarization wave has gone to the next level. Then sodium gated channels have been closed and there is rapid efflux of the potassium outside. So what happened here? The graph came down to minus 70. Up to here it's happy, right? So up to here we can have it's happy, okay, it's happening normally. But what happens is this efflux will not stop. This efflux of the potassium ions will not stop. So what happens? This will come to minus 90 also. So the electronegativity will reach to minus 90. This condition or this position, it is called as hyperpolarization state. Hyperpolarization state. Now what happens to hyperpolarization state is the nerve will take rest. It is also called as refractory period. Refractory or refractatory, refractatory period. So in this period, the nerve will take rest for milliseconds. Remember, for milliseconds, it will again come back up. Why it is coming back up? So remember, the hyperpolarization, why it is happening? Because of the efflux of potassium ions. But the potassium ion channel is also a voltage gated channel. So when it reaches minus 90, the ion channel will be closed. The potassium ion channel will be closed. So at this condition, the potassium ion channels will reduce its function. But still the pump is working. So I write the position here in a repolarization state. So in the repolarization, what happens? The potassium ion pump will stop. When we reaches the minus 90, the potassium pump will stop. So it will stop its work. We have a lot of potassium outside and we have a lot of negativity inside, minus 90. So now still the ATP pump is working, is it or not? So still the ATP pump is working. Now what will ATP pump will do? The sodium potassium ATP pump, it will bring down the potassiums inside. So it will bring down 2 potassiums inside. It will take up the 3 sodiums outside. So now because of bringing the potassiums inside, what happens? the potential difference will raise again to the minus 70. So the potassium levels, the potential difference levels will again come back to the minus 70, where it is ready for the next stimulus to be received. So this is the repolarization. So if I should write, this is the repolarization state. This is repolarization, which is coming from plus 30 to minus 70. But if it goes beyond it, it is also called as minus 90, which is called as hyperpolarization state. It is also considered as refractory period, where the nerve will take some rest, milliseconds, remember milliseconds, and it is ready for the next action potential. So these are a nerve which is activated, which has conducted its impulse, which has sent its depolarization wave, will come back to normal, and it is ready for the next stimulus. And again stimulus comes, the sodium level channels open, and again they will go up. Okay, so these are the nerve signals is started in the axon hillock region, it is sent, and again the nerve will come back to normal. So this graph is in the every position of nerve. We can see this graph in every zone, in every part. For example, if I say this is a nerve, so here we'll have the same graph, here we'll have the same graph, and again here also we'll have the same graph. The potential difference will show the same graph here. The resting membrane potential reaching to action potential through depolarization. Again they'll come back to repolarization, they'll go to hyperpolarization, then they'll come back to the resting membrane potential. This graph will continue till the last, till the terminal portion of the neuron, axon terminals, which you already know. So I'll discuss that. I'll discuss how the transmission of the nerve impulse happen from one nerve to another nerve, but we are discussing conduction, so we'll stick to that part only. Conduction. So what are the factors on which conduction depends? So conduction of nerve impulse depends on two things. Conduction depends on diameter of the nerve, or we can say nerve fiber, diameter of nerve fiber, and it also depends on the myelin sheath. It also depends on the myelin sheath. It is myelin sheath. It also depends on the myelin sheath. Okay, so we have two types of neurons, we have myelinated neurons and we have non-myelinated neurons. Okay, so this will be on the part. So these two things will be controlling the conduction of impulse. How, sir? What is the difference, or what is the rate? So here the rate of conduction is directly proportional to the diameter of the nerve fiber. So this is the first factor. So when you have larger nerve fiber, the larger diameter, the faster it will be. Second thing, conduction is faster in myelinated neurons when compared to non-myelinated neurons. Okay, so why? I will show you that also, don't worry. So now we have to see the explanation or the physiology in this myelinated and non-myelinated neurons. I hope this is understandable. Then we'll conclude this one with how the conduction is faster in the case of myelinated neurons. So just think that we'll take both the neurons as examples. So assume this is the non-myelinated neuron and we'll take the myelinated neuron. So just observe this. Myelinated neuron means, we have a myelin sheath covering the myelinated neuron. Okay, I'll use the black there. So these are plasma lemma, or we can say the axolemma. So we have myelin sheath, and between myelin sheath, what do we have? We have gaps. We have some gaps called as nodes of Ranvier. You know this one. Nodes of Ranvier. Okay. So now the point is, in the non-myelinated neurons, assume in the non-myelinated neurons, the conduction happens step by step. So conduction will happen step by step. It will reach the terminal. So for reaching it will take some time. So this conduction is happening all along the membrane. It is not jumping because they have the potassium sodium channels all the way through the membrane. So they have all the potassium and sodium ion channels all the way through the membrane. So we have channels here. So all the channels has to be activated continuously. So it takes some time. Conduction is taking time here because of the continuous presence of ion channels. So conduction takes time. But here if you observe, if once, for example, here we got the depolarization wave. So here we got the depolarization wave here. Now again you can't see, in this zone you can't see channels. In this zone you can't have the channels because there is myelin sheath covering. You can't have channels which can allow the ions to pass in or go out. So what happens there? This particular depolarization wave or the sodium ions will jump to the next place where they can see, or I use some other ink. So to the next place where they can have the availability of the ion channel. So here what happening? The signals is being jumped from one node to the another node. So signals will jump from one node to another node. So you can see from outside also they will jump from one node to another node. So they are jumping. Now you know when we jump we get lesser time for the conduction. So that's why in the nodes of Ranvier or in the myelinated neurons, so these are myelinated neurons. In the myelinated neurons, what type of conduction is seen? Saltatory conduction is seen. Saltatory means jumping. So here we have continuous conduction. So it is slow. So here we can observe continuous conduction. So here it is slow. But here it is faster because of the saltatory conduction. I hope everything is clear for this video. So that is the total physiology of the conduction of the nerve impulse in the neuron, within the neuron. So tomorrow or in the next video, we'll discuss about the transmission of nerve impulse from one neuron to another neuron. So until today, until this video, we have just discussed only about the generation and conduction of nerve impulse within the neuron till the axon terminal. Tomorrow we will discuss the transmission of nerve impulse and how they will go to the next neuron, and if possible we will go for the CNS also. Thank you for watching. Your Mohan Krishna signing off.